Ah, there we go. Okay. It reconnected. There we go. Okay. Am I back? Just wait a moment. You back? Perfect. Alright. Let us resume. The Serfusian. A decaying creature form of stagling. This creature is the wandering corpse of a stagling who perished while afield in the far... No, that was me. Who perished afield while in the harsh north. Their lack of a proper burial angered the great wolf. He then granted them a form of life once more, to punish those who failed to cherish his creations by dragging others to a cold, lonely death. These creatures ambush travelers using ghostly stealth and long-range attacks. They will bleed the target to death over many days. They'll bleed their... I'm just going to say victims. Their victims to death over many days. You know, nothing like the icy cold, basically revenge zombie that, you know, is smart and shoots at you with a magical bow and arrow. Go. Mountain fox, small gray canine. These animals are skittish and tend to live alone. They period. Classic asshole ghost behavior. Yep. They are occasionally spotted in small family groups. While they tend to avoid fighting, they will fight when cornered. Hello, friend. I am going to write Alex a encounter for the Servusians because this is just a snippet of the bit of lore that I wrote for them for Valley Vara. I'm going to include below a encounter for them that is basically, okay, hey troopers, here's a blizzard. Oh, by the way, now you're under attack by these ghostly specters that are shooting you from out in the blizzard and you can't see them. But the Servusians, you know, they're magical creatures of the Great Wolf God. This is their home. They can see you. And lastly, out of the animals that I wrote a general description for is the Gale Wolf. A ghostly wolf that haunts the Valley Vara. Their fur shimmering and shifting to match the surroundings they find themselves in. Yep. These creatures are incredibly intelligent and capable of speaking Tunka and other languages. Yeah. And other languages. These wolves lead packs of dire wolves, and coordinate extremely complex ambushes and support the ambushes through the usage of their innate magic. Franners has seen firsthand and played against these things when I'm using that whole idea of extremely complex ambushes from Gale Wolves. They're to be reckoned with, and Alright, so now we're on to the NPC profiles. Imagine wolves that have better or squad tactics than your average party. Pretty much. NPC profiles. Chesty, I'm probably going to cut this guy. Actually, yeah, I will cut this guy. I don't need him. Julian, the young elf we covered earlier. Carson, a dwarf who escaped with Julian. And Sayuri, the Oni woman who has been running off and around alone out in these frigid wastes for several days. All right. Trooper aid. When running the mission Arctic Extraction, it is recommended the troopers make a balanced squad with a variety of skills to aid in their survival. Any of the jobs can accomplish this, but several will aid in this mission greatly in their own unique ways. And I outlined, hey, these are the jobs I recommend if you have a squad of 5. Take these. A medic, a scout, and just a regular grunt, a radio man, and a chef. For very obvious reasons, these should be pretty understandable. Medic, guess what? You're probably going to get frostbite. You're probably going to start dying pretty soon. Scouts, you're going to need to learn how to navigate this incredibly horrible mountain range. Yep. Veil auxiliaries, just, extra hands is always good. A radio man, someone to call back to base and keep them posted of the progress. And if the mission goes sideways, you can also call command and say, like, hey, we're leaving this place. This place is awful. And lastly, one that I think actually would probably surprise most players when they read this, players and CCs when they read this, a chef. Because how I said the location that they're dropping off at is 50 miles from their objective, and they only move at 10 miles a day. Meaning they're going to need to bring at least 10 days worth of rations there and back just for them alone. Then add on top of that, okay, now we have all these other guys that we're bringing back with us that we've saved. You're going to need to cook food. A lot of it. And getting every mechanical bonus you can to not dying in this frigid wasteland will help. Yeah, exactly. Hertha, we bring big squad of heavy gunners. Cool, you're gonna die the moment you guys run into anything that is the environment. Because like I said, the three trifectas that is gonna make this environment so deadly is frigid temperatures. You're always making grit rolls. You're pretty much always gonna be making grit rolls. The traversal of the environment itself, it is crags, cliffs, deep valleys, and mountains that go up 60 degrees. It is not something that troopers will be able to move around lightly and easily with. And then the last one being, obviously, you guys were both here for this, the animals. Like Adam said, creatures that live in extremely cold, they're tough. Creatures that live in the mountains, they're tough. Now creatures that live in extreme cold mountains are going to murder you. All right, so let us continue on. So, I did this in my last one. Fucketh. Stupid. Whatever, it'll focus later. Alright, so, I did this in my last module, and I wanted to include it in this one as well. Okay, go back, and go back in. Hopefully that makes it refocus a little bit, and it's getting there. Okay. But, by doing this, I'm outlining, hey, these might not be the standard issued items your characters are told to get, but you as the CC should give them to them. Slaps camera until it obeys. Well, I mean, it's an autofocus camera, so it's just, sometimes it just decides my water bottle coming in front of my mouth is more important. So, what can I do? All right. Looks like it's refocused for the most part. Alrighty, so I included that in this one as well. I'm probably going to edit this a little bit more because I'm just not perfectly satisfied with what I'm seeing for this. So gearing up. This being a long-term deep extraction expedition, the troopers will be properly equipped for the environment. This does not mean they are not unaffected by the frigid cold. Their warm winter uniforms only prevent them from freezing to death in minutes. Thank you, Fran. But yeah. Once again, this is just emphasizing the fact of how this environment is so cold. If they came here without being issued these winter uniforms, they would freeze to death within the hour. Just, you're dying. You're dead. Without a fire and without proper shelter. During the pre-mission briefing, emphasized to the troopers how they have the following available on top of the winter uniforms. So, they are going to be given winter uniforms, and they have these available to them. Climbing gear, camping gear, extra medical supplies, IFAC stretchers, etc. I'm going to also include some extra weapons. Let's get heavy. Let's just let them foolishly get really heavy. Rockets and explosives. Extra food, extra rations. Rocks and explosives, extra rations. I think that'll be a good enough amount for this. The exact amounts of these available are up to the CC period. So by including these as options, it's just like, hey, I'm trying to incentivize the idea of like, hey, yo, guys, this is a survival mission, not a... Well, granted, yes, it is an extraction mission, is technically their objective. Oh yeah, climbing a mountain with a 50 cal, what could go wrong? Oh yeah, I guarantee someone will try it. Alright, so, mission course of action, abridged versus... Why did this change? This needs to be times new Roman. Arial? No, times new Roman. There we go. So, abridged and unabridged time. I outlined this in my other one. This is literally just a straight copy pasta from the other one of explaining how to run long distance travel in a game. Just basically, hey, okay, you guys travel along. Just give a brief description of like, yeah, you guys work your way up through the mountainous crags and end up higher, and now you see bit. And then you're back onto unabridged time where you explain the encounter that you have them going into. That's just all it is. Alright, so pre-mission briefing. Guard is likely going to change good sections of this, but still going to go over it. So, before the squad departs on the mission, conduct a short roleplay opportunity for them to introduce their characters. The squad is gathered in a briefing room aboard the VRS Alexandra, the Veil Rider ship Alexandra. The briefing room is a small metal room with rows of metal tables and folding chairs. In front of the room is a blackboard with chalk. The commander, Chesty, I didn't know what to name him, so I just named him after Chesty Puller. Go figure. Yeah, the party can try. That doesn't mean it's going to be successful. All right. So during this briefing, Chesty will arrive to give them their final mission briefing. During this briefing, Chesty will go over the mission summary with the troopers and take any last-minute questions from them before they depart. During the briefing, Chesty is boisterous and extreme and excited to finally have an opportunity to send some of his blue water auxiliaries. I don't know why Guard decided to call them that, the equivalent of the Marines in this, but whatever. The blue water auxiliaries on the exact type of mission they have been training for. Or following the briefing and any questions the troopers have, the troopers would be dismissed and escorted down to the well dock of the ship, where they will be waved off by Chesty and the Veil Rider Naval Forces. Bam. Easy setup, easy, just like, hey, this is how you kick the mission. And now we have the actual intro read. Read out loud to your player, or summarize to your players. I have included this in the last one, and I'm going to continue to include it in this one. So, your boat travels fast towards the icy shores of the Bastion Mountains. The waves rolling onto the shore are being illuminated by the pale moon above. You feel each wave slap against your boat's hull as it cuts through the growing swells, kicking salty water up on deck and up over the deck and onto your boots. The boat gradually slows as it follows the inlet and up the river, the bright moonlight dimming as you pass underneath the shades of the pine trees lining its banks. After a short trip up the river, the engines cut and you all coast onto the edges of the river's southern bank. Jumping out of the boat and quickly lashing your vessel to a tree, you all gather several yards off the river's banks in a small thicket concealed by tall snowdrifts. The sounds of croaking ravens and billowing winds dancing through the trees above you. Mission begins. It is like 4 a.m. What do you guys think of that? Sorry. Ooh. I'll read any comment you have real fast in a second. I'm just gonna go use the head real fast, and then I'll walk you through my plans for the encounters. I'm gonna write those later tonight, but one second. Perfection. Alright, glad you like that, Alex. Perfect. Alright. So now we got that set up. So that's the setup for, hey, landing on the beach and starting the mission itself. So the encounters that I have planned are, so unlike the last one, which was a investigation mission, an investigation mission needs a very clear, delineated, hey, here are the hints, here's stuff to help you get the bigger picture. This one, because it's a get to point B, get to point A, and back to the original and the start, that's it. It's just a there and back. I am outlining encounters for the party to have that are not in any particular order. However, I'm classifying them by where I think the encounter would fit best. So the outlines are encounters while the players are encamped, environmental encounters, wildlife encounters, southern elves, and troopers. Troopers as well as the locals. So between all of these, I'm going to write out 4 or 5 for each of them. And then that's going to... Basically, I'm just going to hand over to the CC. I finished making waffles. I must feed the family. I look forward to reading more. I'll see you later. I'm going to be just writing up the encounters tonight. Once I'm done giving you guys a briefing, I'm going to go play some games, though. But, so, the encounters for camp, the Pine Devil, or the Pine Devil attacking the party while they're in camp. A Gale Wolf coming into the party's camp. Now, the Gale Wolf, I'm going to outline, hey, they're an intelligent creature. They're likely not going to attack. They're likely going to try to convince the party to shove off, this is my territory. Small foxes and a southern elf ambush. If they're set up in a very obvious position near, like out in the relative open and have a fire, guess what? Southern elves might find them and might stage an attack. Simple enough. Now the environmental encounters. This is, once again, things that are going to help set the entire thing. On thin ice, the Aurora. So on thin ice, walking across a bit of thin ice of whatever it is, very similar to what described above. And Aurora, the Aurora Borealis. Not everything out here wants to kill you. Even out here in the frigid wastes, there's some forms of beauty and opulence you can find. The Aurora being one of them. Just a, hey, roll random encounter. Hey, guy on watch. This is what you see tonight. Beautiful rainbow colors dancing in the skies above you. Nothing crazy for that. All right, crossing a ravine. Covered that before. I'm going to make this 2 of them with and without a log. So one of them is going to be like, hey, there's a giant ravine in front of you. You want to try to find a way to cross it now? Or do you want to have to go around? Hunter's cabin. A couple of them I'm just going to make like some abandoned, dilapidated cabins. Blizzards. It's like, hey boys, ready for these +6 to your grit rolls? Make one. Climbing cliff faces, up and down. Wildlife encounters. Mama bear, gale wolves, dire wolves, Cervusians. In and out of blizzards for the Cervusian. Southern elf encounters. There's scouts, a roving vehicle, dust vehicle camp. So I don't want it to just be that things happen to the troopers. I want them to be able to have the option to initiate. So hey, as you guys are wandering along and looking for a location to set up your camp, you spot, like, I don't know, let's say a quarter mile from you guys just off to the side of the road, you see a southern elf vehicle. It's parked, and you can see that there's a small fire trickling up next to it. With several people huddled around the fire for warmth. They probably wouldn't mind trying to steal that vehicle. A way to keep warm, a way to move faster. So obviously they'll be stuck to the roads at that point, but it is a way to move faster. Finding the trooper encounters are just outlines of roughly how to encounter the Oni who ran away from the prison, as well as the duo who escaped the prison as well. Encounters with the locals. I just want to toss a couple hunters or something, like toss a hunter encounter or something like that in here, and maybe like they can stumble upon a hunter's cabin. Anything to just give it something. and on the 7th day. So 7 days from when the mission starts, the troopers who were captured are going to be going and getting airlifted out of the camp and taken to another location. That's the failure state. So based on the way everything is, you probably fairly easily tell how it's basically impossible to make it to the camp while being fresh and fully ready to fight. That is just not happening. So basically, if the party wants to actually accomplish this mission, they're gonna have to take exhaustion. They're gonna have to be out in the cold, out in the extreme cold, and learn to deal with it. On the objective, I'm going to write out the encampment and a rough encounter for it, and then on the return. So your goal isn't to just make it to the camp and clear it. No, your goal is to make it to the camp, get the guys, now come back. So now you have to deal with getting those troopers that are wounded, tired, and beat down out of the camp and alive. And the last thing is I'm going to write some conclusions to the mission. So just like, hey, these southern elves got these, you guys didn't rescue the troopers. You did or didn't. Did you find the other troopers, etc.? Add those into it. Add like a couple failure state, a couple examples of what happened and stuff like that. And then suggested artwork. That's something. I'll be writing all this stuff later tonight. But that's the current game plan. I think it'll work pretty well. Wow, that took me an hour to explain. Good lord. Hi, Junk. Nice to see you, buddy. I see many deaths in the future. Yep. This is going to be a challenging scenario. I built it with level 6 troopers in mind. So they're going to be experienced. They're going to have decent scores and stuff like that. That doesn't mean they're not going to get completely curbed. Stretch the back out. Ugh. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to call this section of my stream for the day. Tonight while I'm at work, so long as I have free time, I'm going to spend that entire time just writing encounters. I want to have all the encounters done today, because these are going to take up, 4 or 5 pages probably. And then I'm going to probably write, and on the 7th day as well. And then the last one, the last bits, on the objective and on return. I'll probably write these tomorrow or the next day, because on the objective is going to take me a while, because I have to detail out the camp, draw it, stuff like that. That'll take me a while to do. And then write my instructions to the CC for how they return, on road or via the road or via foot. How long that's going to take them. And then, yeah. The conclusion to the mission stuff, that won't take long, but it'll take me a while, because as I'm writing out the encounters, I'm going to obviously figure out some more details of what's going to be in the world, and then I can add some stuff of conclusions. But yeah, I will be back on probably in about 20 minutes, to play some of the Long Dark, my own game that I actually very much enjoy. That is a cold weather survival simulator. Go figure. So with that, thank you, Alex. Thank you, Junk, and thank you, Fran, everyone who came in. There's like a point where I had like 7 viewers. No one was talking though, but hey, thank you everyone who came and watched. I'll be on that in a little bit, and then we're going to hopefully at that, if you watch that, you can get an idea for what I'm going for with this. I will see you dudes in a little bit. Bye bye.